Meanwhile, there's a lot of talk among Democrats about blocking or trying to block the nomination and confirmation of President Trump's Supreme Court pick, Brett Kavanaugh. KPIX5's Phil Matier and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, do the Dems have to be careful?
They have to be very, very careful. He's the darling of the Christian right, and there are more of those persons in America today voting than even the Trumpites.
And where does this put Democrats who are, let's say, running for re-election to the Senate, who are in those states that could go either way?
Honestly, I would not want to be any of them right now. And right now, they are trying to distance themselves from Chuck Schumer, because even if they are going to vote for Kavanaugh, they don't want to be seen as sort of the puppet of Chuck Schumer and other Democrats in the Senate. So it's a very fine line they're having to walk right now. I wouldn't envy them at all right now.
Well, it's a major mistake when it appears as if Democrats are simply saying no to all Trump nominees. You've got to wait until you can establish a basis for a no vote. You don't telegraph it as early as Schumer has telegraphed it.
He's not alone. Well, Kamala Harris is already telegraphing. I mean, a number of Democrats
Phil,
are.
There's a difference. Some people who are not in leadership or in very safe states are doing it for their constituency.
Okay.
But some poor person, let's say, in one of the other states where they're somewhat at risk, a district or a state in which Trump won the last time around, and by double digits, that individual has to be really careful.
Well, and also, so Brett Kavanaugh, when he was appointed to the D.C. Circuit the first time around, he had a hearing in 2004 and then another one in 2006 at the Senate. And he grilled mercilessly for days at a time, and he handled it well. He came off as very likable in the course of that. And I think that for folks who think that they're going to just sort of go at him and this is going to be a tete-a-tete, they're going to find that they may end up looking bad.
So in other words, Trump has picked somebody that he'll likely get on the Supreme Court, but also someone who, if the Democrats go after, well, he's being confirmed, he wins there too.
Every time he nominates a person, he's going to have the same thing in mind. He's going to try at every stage to set Democrats up. And believe me, with the huge amount of money that's going to be spent advertising on behalf of Kavanaugh and every other potential Trump nominee, it's going to be a problem. That's unlimited expenditures and unreportable.
And by the way, I have to congratulate both Melissa and Mayor Brown. They predicted Kavanaugh's nomination last week here, and now you're predicting what's going on.
No, I predicted. She bet on it.
You got to put your money where your mouth is, you know,
there we
sometimes.
go, best words said. Or just stay off to the side like me. All right.
To be fair, I didn't actually bet anything. That was a European betting market that I had referred to. I sadly did not win any money.
And this nomination fight is going to come up before the November election. I mean, there's very little incentive for the Republicans to wait until after the November election, right? That's
right. There's not only no incentive, but also it's really entirely up to Mitch McConnell to schedule this. Certain bills have to come up at certain times, but a move like this can actually be brought at the request of the leadership. And so there's really nothing to stop him from bringing it up whenever he feels good and ready to do it. And remember, too, after the midterm elections, people who get elected in November get sworn in January. So Republicans have until the end of the year, essentially, to get through this confirmation process. Meanwhile, at Mayor Breed's inaugural, someone said, "Welcome to the 25th year of the Willie Brown Mayoralty." So Phil Matier and I asked the former mayor what he thinks of that comment.
Here we've got wonderful people elected, holding office, and they're being, someone is attempting to discredit them by some association with me. My administration was a pretty good one.
Okay.
And let me assure you.
It's just coincidental that you're mayor, then Gavin Newsom, your handpicked guy, is mayor, followed by Ed Lee, who nobody even knew about until you said, hey, let's make him mayor, acting mayor, and then mayor, followed by London Breed. 4 out of 4. It's just random.
And each and every one has demonstrated great skills and ability, so much so that Mr. Newsom is about to become the governor.
Do you notice, Melissa, he's not denying anything. Instead, he's sort of reveling in it and justifying it.
That is the Willie Brown way. If you've read his book, Basic Brown, which everyone should, in it he writes that admitting is always the best thing. And isn't that your criticism of Bill Clinton, was that he tried to deny?
Admitting?
Admit, go with it.
It's not admit, it's acknowledge.
Well, yeah, but it's hard. It's a chicken and egg thing. Is he just picking the best candidates, or are the best, or are sort of candidates really just benefiting dramatically from the backing?
In some cases, I've been reasonably fortunate in backing some candidates, and they've ended up winning. But every time I touch the lottery, I don't win. I would prefer winning the lottery than having good candidates.
We did remind Mayor Brown, former Mayor Brown, about his 100-day promise. People who were living here during his administration might remember he promised that within his first 100 days he was going to fix Muni. He was going to turn Market Street into the Champs-Élysées. So we had we definitely had a nice chat about his issues as a mayor. Well,
he is undoubtedly a kingmaker here in San Francisco. And it's good. I mean, and there's no denying it, so you might as well acknowledge it.
That's exactly, like I said, his approach to accusations like that is to just embrace them and go with it, and that kind of diffuses, it takes the wind out of those kind of criticisms. So.